Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it.
वे मुझे मार सकते हैं लेकिन मेरे विचारों को नहीं। वे मुझे कुचल सकते हैं लेकिन मेरी आत्मा को नहीं।
इनकलाब जिंदाबाद! इनकलाब जिंदाबाद!
Our thought should proceed from point to point, from city to city, until the whole of India is ablaze, not with the fire that ruins or kills, but the one that brings plenty, patriotism and progress, said the father of radical thinking and one of the prominent national freedom fighters, washing away many memories, but the life of extremists stay with us, nourishing our mind and the heart of the free. The crowded years of their life are a part of history. Let's recall those tempestuous days where they lived, worked and fought.
Born to Keshav Gangadhar Tilak on 23 July 1856. Entered as Lokmanya, was an Indian nationalist, teacher and an independence activist. He was one-third of the Lal Bal Pal trio. The British colonial authorities called him the father of Indian unrest. He was also conferred with the title of Lokmanya, which means accepted by people as their leader. He was also the first and the strongest advocates of Swaraj. He also formed a close alliance with many international National Congress leaders.
Tilak had a long political career, agitating for Indian autonomy from British colonial rule. Before Gandhi, he was most widely known Indian political leader, unlike his fellow Maharashtrian contemporary Gokhale. Tilak was considered radical nationalist but a social conservative.
Will to be free. These festivals became a powerful lever for political awakening. The power was being challenged by a man who had become the spokesman of a whole people. His voice must therefore be silenced. The trial took place in the Bombay High Court. The great patriot was sentenced for sedition. The scene shifts to Dongri jail. The date, September 14th, 1897. On this day, Tilak, the scholar and patriot, began an 18 months rigorous imprisonment, registered as a common criminal. No indignity, no suffering could break Tilak's spirit. Years ago, he had vowed to sacrifice himself on the altar of his country's freedom. And now, as he wasted away on a diet of bread and water, his health was grievously damaged. The British authorities, fearing that he would die, decided to order his release before the expiry of his sentence. To recoup his health, Tilak, together with his family, then in July 1899, Tilak returned to lead the battle for freedom. Punascha Hari Om, we start again. Momentous years followed. The British mobilized to shatter India's unity. The policy of divide and rule was launched. The partition of Bengal was decreed. The entire country was ablaze with discontent. The leaders of the nation prepared for action. Tilak, the ablest and most trusted of them all, now issued his memorable challenge. "We are not armed," he said, "but we have a political weapon. This is boycott. Boycott this foreign government." Can you do that by your united efforts? If you can, you are free from tomorrow. The response to Tilak's fiery words was immediate. Fought on. Disunity encouraged the rulers to order countrywide repression. Muzaffarpur in Bengal replied with bombs. Many struggles and sacrifices faced India's millions. The British moved to silence Tilak, the father of Indian unrest. Bombay's High Court was the scene of Tilak's historic trial in 1908. Tilak does not flinch. He prepares his own defense, speaks for a whole nation. Soon the verdict is pronounced. He is guilty. The judge asks the accused if he has anything to say. The atmosphere is electric. Then Tilak's voice is heard, strong and clear. "All I wish to say is that in spite of the verdict of the jury, I maintain that I am innocent. There are higher powers that rule the destiny of things, and it may be the will of Providence that the cause which I represent is to prosper more by my suffering than by my remaining free." Transported to the notorious central jail of Mandalay in far-off Burma. 6 years of solitary confinement begin. In these impossible conditions, Tilak resolved to continue his research, particularly in mathematics and astronomy. During the Lokmanya's absence, political activity in India stagnated. The National Congress was losing its hold over the people, but in due course the sentence ran out and Tilak returned. The whole country was filled with joy. In 1914, the world was at war and India turned to... Here in Gaikwadwada, representatives of all sections would come to discuss future plans. In 1916, at the Lucknow session, Tilak re-entered the Congress. United opposing sections welded national unity. Very soon his immortal words, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it," had become the battle cry of the freedom movement. With tireless energy, he toured the country, explaining his stand, urging the people to accept what was offered and to continue the fight for full freedom. In July 1920, Tilak arrived in Bombay and went to Sardar Griha, where he always stayed. He was to spend his last days here. He died on the 1st of August at the age of 65. The whole nation was plunged in grief. Mahatma Gandhi spoke the thoughts of India when he wrote, "Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak is no more. It is difficult to believe of him as dead. He was so much a part of the people. A giant among men has fallen. The voice of the lion is hushed. For us, he will go down to the generations yet unborn as a maker of modern India. It is blasphemy to talk of such a man as dead. The permanent essence of him abides with us forever. Let us erect for the only Lokmanya of India an imperishable monument by weaving into our lives his bravery, his simplicity, his wonderful industry, and his love of his country.
Defeats and failure are sometimes necessary to get success. Lala Rajpat Rai was an inspirational leader, popularly known as Punjab Kesari. He was an activist, protestant, and autobiographer. He played a significant role in the Indian freedom movement due to his fierce nature. He gave a tough fight to Britishers through his strong determination, clear vision, and courageous actions. He was basically a Congress leader and founded several institutions for the welfare of the people. And he became the president of Indian National Congress in 1920. He was among the three Lal Bal Pal Trimurti.
Lala Rajpat Rai was born on January the 28th, 1865 in Lodi, Punjab. In 1886, he moved and started practicing law. He also took up journalism and contributed articles to several newspapers such as Tribune in 1914. He quitted practicing law and focused on India's freedom struggle. Lala Rajpat Rai founded the Indian Home Rule League in New York and launched a monthly journal, Young India, as well as Hindustan Information Services Association. Due to his involvement with Indian National Congress and participation in political agitation in Punjab, Lala Rajpat Rai was deported to Mandale in Burma without trial in 1907.
The Bengal tiger Bipin Chandra Pal was born on 7th November 1858 to Ramchandra Pal in the village of Poil. His family was a wealthy Hindu family and Pal's father was a Persian scholar. He joined the Presidency College in Calcutta but could not complete his education there. He then started to work as a headmaster. Later he became a librarian in a public library. It was there where he met several political leaders of the day like Surendranath Banerjee, Shivnath Shastri and B.K. Goswami. This interaction propelled him to quit his profession and join the active politics. Pal was also inspired by the ideas of Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Aurobindo Ghosh. In 1896, he went to England to study comparative theology. He returned to India in 1 year and plunged into the freedom struggle. He started popularizing the idea of Swaraj, which means freedom to Indians. Along with Lajpat Rai and Tilak, he preached an extremist form of nationalism that adopted revolutionary methods like boycotting British goods in shops, burning Western clothes, and advocating strikes and lockouts of British factories. This trio was called Lal Bal Pal.
Gangadhar Balkrishna Deshpande, also known as the Lion of Karnataka, was an Indian activist who was the leader of Indian independence movement against the British colonial rule from Belagaum, Karnataka. He was the right-hand man of Mahatma Gandhi and Lokmanya Tilak. He considered Lokmanya Tilak as his guru. He served as chairman of the Karnataka branch of All India Spinners Association. Deshpande was born on 31 March 1871 into a Kannada-speaking Brahmin Rigvedi family. His father was a landowner. He worked during the Swadeshi movement of 1905 to 1906, encouraged production of locally Swadeshi goods, national education, and opposition of partition of Bengal.
Freedom at midnight and 75 years of India's independence. We have come a long way from channelizing our main resources, thoughts, and energies for the development of the primary sector and eradicating extreme poverty. The transition of India from being an entity composed of different princely states with individual interests to a country that's not only united today but fought patriotically against external aggression is an achievement in itself that cannot be measured by any yardstick.
Today, our significant advancement in science and technology, defense, literature, medicine, and the economy at large has captured the world's attention, so much so, India today is regarded not just as an economic powerhouse, but also a responsible world leader. That India's ambition to be part of the UN's permanent seat garnered overwhelming support from many countries is a testament to the fact that we are progressing in the path of global glory and global leadership.
Philosopher John Locke argued that every man or a human being is naturally free. and remain so as long as he may think or move or not as he prefers. Preference or choice distinguishes a free man from an unfree one. Protecting my freedom means protecting my power to think, believe, act, speak as I choose. And I would be a fool to not protect it with my life. The materials of which freedom is made are rule of law, equality before law, access to justice, personal security, the right to diverse beliefs and practices. Personal freedom is defensible only as long as it's not assaulting others. If one set of people trample over the freedom of another set, the freedom itself loses meaning.
Day is indeed a day to remembering our freedom fighters and celebrate the achievements. But mostly, it is a day when we, the people of India, should celebrate our freedom. It will be a befitting tribute to our freedom fighters to ensure that the freedoms they have fought and laid their lives for are blooming today in the world's biggest democracy. Happy Independence Day.